Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Connor James. An underground mine accident in Bell County led to the death of a Clinton, Tennessee man. Bell County Coroner Jason Steele says that the engineer was Jeffrey Norman Sloan. He was killed in the Nally and Hampton mines off Kentucky Highway 2012 Monday morning. Sloan was doing an underground survey at Tenco's Energy Tom's Fork mine when the accident happened, and he was pronounced dead at the scene.
From this point forward, may have a little bit more to do with MSHA, but usually the state and the county coroner will work the closest on this type of investigation.
There are ongoing investigations into what caused the accident. No other injuries were reported. Tonight, you're asked to be on the lookout for a missing girl out of Ohio. Take a look. This is Haley Marie Bowling. The 11-year-old was last seen in Manchester. We are told her mother could be taking her to Grover, North Carolina. Bowling is 4 foot 8 inches tall and weighs about 75 pounds. Anyone who sees her is urged to call police. And a surprising development today in a high-profile murder case of a teenager accused in her stepmother's death. Today, Jenna Oakley admitted to a lesser charge of manslaughter in the death of her 52-year-old stepmother, Rhonda. The crime happened in September of 2016 and launched a nationwide search for the then 15-year-old before she was found with an adult boyfriend more than 1,000 miles away. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has more on why the plea is not sitting well with the victim's husband, who is also the teen's father.
No jurors will sit in these seats to determine the guilt or innocence of 17-year-old Jenna Oakley.
For the amount of time that she received for taking a life, I just don't think it's fair. I mean,
a father upset over the punishment his daughter will likely receive after admitting to the crime that killed his wife.
To be able to tell me she didn't know what she was doing, I'll never believe that.
Jenna was just 15 when police said she had a role in her stepmother Rhonda's death. The 52-year-old woman was found dead in her home in September of 2016. Days later, Jenna and her 20-year-old boyfriend were found in New Mexico. A grand jury indicted her on complicity to commit murder.
I know people make mistakes, but that's a big mistake to make.
Jenna Oakley pleaded guilty to second-degree manslaughter and theft by unlawful taking. The combined recommended sentence on both charges is 15 years.
Something's got to change because
Philip Oakley says he started noticing problems in his daughter's behavior and relationships and asked for help from officials.
When they told me she's just 15, nothing's going to happen. Well, something did happen.
His wife of 3 years was later killed, and now he's worried other parents may experience the same nightmare.
I may never be able to change anything, but I'll do everything in my power to do something.
Jenna Oakley will be back in court February 22nd, and she'll be sentenced in Boyle County. Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Kentucky State Police told us tonight they did investigate a complaint from Philip Oakley about his daughter, but they ultimately had to turn it over to an agency outside of Kentucky because of jurisdictional issues.
Mostly cloudy skies and cold temperatures have been the story for your Monday. And as we take a look at some of our weather cameras, you'll notice some locations dealing with patchy fog, some light drizzle, and yes, some snowflakes at this time. Whitesburg continues to look at really a clearer pattern. Some wet roadways earlier there around 6 o'clock. Notice the University of Virginia, some of that light drizzle continues to fall with some of the cloud cover hanging around, and that patchy fog going to be a big story as well. Satellite radar showing a few flakes down in southeastern Kentucky across the border into Virginia, and some of us still looking at some of that light drizzle down in southern Kentucky. Most of that should be transferring to some flakes, some flurries over the next couple of hours. It's 29 in Jackson, 31 in Prestonsburg, and 32 in Whitley County. The visibility is something we continue to watch, and it was a huge problem around 5:30 and 6 with visibility values less than a mile. You'll notice it's 3 miles now in Logan, West Virginia, 7 miles in Pikeville, and 7 in Wise as well. For tonight, a low temperature of 25. We'll hold on to a 10 to 20% chance of some flakes, some patchy fog as well. And with all that, along with below freezing temperatures, Connor, a few slick spots cannot be ruled out. We'll have a full look at the rest of the week and what you can expect for that weekend coming up in a few short minutes.
All right, thank you, Andrew. As many continue to fight the opioid epidemic, another drug is creeping back into play. The Laurel County Sheriff's Department is dealing with a high number of crystal meth cases. The drug that is not made in eastern Kentucky is being brought into the region. The Sheriff's Department says most likely through I-75 and distributed to users, forcing the Sheriff's Department to go all out to try to fix the problem.
Crystal meth has its own problems. It's so addictive that we're told that even a first-time user may and possibly will become hooked on crystal methamphetamine, and it's so addictive that it's very difficult to get off of it.
Achardo says one-step meth labs, however, have mostly been completely erased from the country. And the city of Middlesboro is adding some extra security downtown. The police department will do more foot patrolling through the streets to help make their presence known. I stopped by downtown Middlesboro earlier and talked with people who have businesses downtown and law enforcement about how this fosters a sense of community as well.
Hello there.
You're in your last hour, ain't
Yes,
you?
I am. How you doing?
It's a relatively simple concept. The Middlesboro Police Department's done it before.
We've had foot patrols in the past, and typically whenever we have an event downtown, such as the concert series that we've had, we'll have officers downtown on foot patrol.
But after Middlesboro's new mayor, Rick Nelson, took office, his goal was to ramp that up.
He just wanted more of an organized schedule for doing it, just increased foot patrols.
That's where everyday officers come in. Officers walk through downtown, going into each and every business.
Hello.
They make themselves known and ask if the workers need anything.
This is something we've asked for several years.
Something that people like Lucas Carter have been hoping for.
When you come to this town, you want to feel safe. You want to be able to get out, look at things, and a police officer knows all about the town.
Where Carter works is along the route the officers take. The officers do everything from double-check locked doors to cleaning up needles.
We want people to be able to get out and walk through our town and feel safe. So this builds those relationships with our community, makes those people feel safe.
As they hope to make the city's streets safer. Now, in talking with officers, they tell me they have found needles before in the streets. They hope that more of a presence downtown will deter that sort of behavior. And it's an item you might not expect a city police department to keep locked up. A 1921 Tommy gun is stored away at Jenkins City Hall, kept safe by police and locked behind several doors. It is formerly known as a Thompson submachine gun. It is too heavy to carry and too valuable to use, appraising for $75,000+. So city officials plan to auction it off. The funds will go towards the Jenkins City Police Department to replace old equipment. Jenkins City Mayor Todd DePriest explains how the city got the gun.
As far as we can trace back, was bought by Consolidated Coal Company, and it was shipped to a hardware store in Logan, West Virginia, then brought by train to Jenkins. And the stories we've always been told is it was used to guard the payroll when the money come in on the train.
You do need a Class 3 firearms license to own the gun, and if you're an interested buyer, you can contact Jenkins City Police Department. More than 100 thefts at the Quick Mart in Floyd County. Many gas stations make their money primarily from merchandise sales. Even the smallest priced theft can affect the entire business. Owners say when people steal, this drives up the cost of the other items to make up for lost profit. Jack Paddle says many people who steal from the gas station are intoxicated.
A lot of them are on drugs.
They are in drugs or pills or meth, and they don't know what they are doing.
Paddle has installed nearly 50 cameras to catch every shoplifter. He says when he sees someone stealing, he posts their surveillance camera footage on Facebook. By doing this, he hopes to warn other businesses about the thief. Well, coming up at 11, new studies show that seas are rising at an unprecedented rate. And federal workers in Kentucky say they're fed up with the gridlock in Washington. Stay with us. We'll have the latest coming up.
And drizzle, flakes, and some slick spots are all possible tonight. The details are coming up in your forecast.
Breathe easier with ARH Home Care Store oxygen and home medical equipment. Our stores are conveniently located throughout southeastern Kentucky, plus you get after hours and weekend service through your local ARH hospital. Comprehensive and convenient. ARH, taking care of you at home.
The cowboys have their horses, the mountaineers their mules.